Poof. The Scourge of Ghyran, a blase of glory. Sons and daughters of Grimnir, your time has come to blaze like the eternal flame. For today you receive the new Scourge of Ghyran rules. Gather around the fire while Battlesmith Adam Troke of Ostarg Lodge enlightens you on the subject of Magamadroths. Center this here.
He inhaled, tasting smoke and cinder. I am Gargum, third heir of the Beldrag Lodge. Drums beat and dirges were chanted as the Rune Sun looked up. The priest's death mask stared back at him. Known as the Half-Axe, for my first blade shattered in slaying a loathsome toad drake, son of my rune father, Grumgun Grimnir, who was a son of Freyras Grimnir, who was a daughter of Dagdan Grimnir, and ever on. I defeated Feargor the Flayed and buried him beneath the Wandering Mountains. As Gargum spoke, the priest held a sizzling rune against the Rune Sun's bicep. Gargum grit his teeth. I swore grudge against the Rat Men when my elder brothers were stitched into the abomination they call the Umglug. The priest began hammering the rune into his flesh.
The what?
The dirges of the gathered Dwarden rose. Somewhere, a Magmadroth roared. Gargum's voice stayed strong. Now, Volcatrix's children howl at the stench on the wind. The Skaven come. The Umglug comes. I will mount my steed Fafnorg, ride for Beldrag, and reduce it to ashes. With one last blow, the Urgold rune bonded to his flesh. Gargum shuddered as volcanic power surged through him. He roared, axe held high. Grimnir, guide me!
That was unintentionally erotic for the entire thing. But hey, all right. Our first flame-grilled, char-broiled tribute takes the form of a new prayer lore Vulcan gift. Volcanic fracturing gives Magmadroths an explosive quality when injured, causing their volcanic blood to jet out with even greater ferocity. The other two prayers, Fury of Volcatrix and Blazing Impetus, can both be used on infantry units, but are put to best effect on Magmadroths. See, Games Workshop, it's not impossible to do this. You can just let buffs land on monsters or troops, like it's fine. The former grants extra attacks, while the latter enables you to move a unit in the hero phase. The second tribute is the Marks of Volcatrix, 3 Magmadroth upgrades, Incandescent Blase. Turns your average Magmadroth Firestream into an apocalyptic inferno, could potentially torch an entire unit in a single blast. I will hold them to this. If I read this rule, and I don't think Apocalyptic Inferno, I'm going to be very disappointed. Thickened Scales makes your Magmadroths harder to hurt, while Peerless Lineage enables you to pick a second target for a Magmadroth's Rampage ability. Big. If you hadn't guessed by now, the Scourge of Ghyran War Scroll updates your Magmadroth, specifically the Orc Rune Sun. It has 2 new abilities that make it especially deadly when used in combination with the prayers and marks above. Should an Auric Rune Sun see his Rune Father in trouble, he will fly into a volcanic rage, inflicting extra damage in a bid to protect Dad and his bestie. It is compulsory to shout "Father" as dramatically as possible when making this move. The second ability is Calamitous Crash, a rampage ability that will see this Magmadroth bulldoze his way through a swath of enemy units, paired with Peerless Lineage for even more destruction. New download. Hey, all right. Enhance. Whoop. On enhance. Yeah, I think that's right. Note, please don't LARP hard enough to actually yell in a social setting. Yeah, this is true. Don't do that. All right. Deep Sea. Ident Deepkin? No. Fyreslayers. Enhance. Okay. Much better. Pardon me. The marks of all these can be... Okay, so these are your... No subfactions. No subfactions for the Fyreslayers. You get beast traits. And this... Here it is. Incandescent Blaze. Once per game. So this is going to be fucking crazy. Your shooting phase. For the rest of the turn, double the attack characteristic of the unit's roaring fire stream. Has a damage characteristic of 3. One moment, please. I'm just gonna... Roaring fire stream. No. I forgot to install some new PDF reader, I guess. 10-inch range. So 8 attacks instead of 4. 3s and 3s, 1, and then 3. Anti-infantry rend 2. Is 8 attacks, 3s and 3s, 2, 3. That's a lot. Now, it's only 10-inch range. That sucks. So the ability sucks. But if you get close enough to actually use it, 8 attacks, 3s and 3s, 2, 3. Double is only once per game anyway, though. With a 10-inch range shooting attack, literally you're probably only going to use it once per game anyway. One way or another. What did I say? What did they say? Apocalyptic Inferno. I don't know about that. But 8 attacks, 3s and 3s, damage 2, or damage 3, rend 2 if it's against infantry. Like that's potentially some big damn. Apocalyptic Inferno, no. But, you know, that's some big damn. Can you use it in combat? No. Oh, then it's... Yeah. Yeah, then it's even worse. Okay. Yeah, you're not taking this. 10-inch range and can't even use it in combat despite it being the thing's fucking mouth. Okay. Thickened Scales. -1 from rend of weapons used for attacks that target this unit. Awesome. Great. That's what you take. Or Peerless Lineage. You can pick another eligible unit to be a second target of the Rampage ability. Rampage ability. Add 1 attacks characters and melee weapons used by friendly Fyreslayers. Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm thinking of the Rampage. Pick 1 enemy unit on a 3-up, subtract 1 from save rolls for the target. It's a really good Rampage. But you're just so rarely in combat with more than 1 unit. That's rare enough. I'm taking Thick Scales. Thick Scales for sure. 100%. Dad, -1 save. Oh wait, they probably have different ones. Son. Each time this unit destroys a monster, add 1 to 10. Well, okay. Rampage. Pick an enemy monster in combat with this unit. Stopped reading there. No Rampage. Oh, here we go. Pick an enemy unit in combat, 2d6. If the roll is equal or less than the number of models in it, inflict mortals. Okay. So you could pick 2 with Lashing Tail. Yeah, I think they way... Perhaps I play differently than most people, but they way overestimate the number of times that you're meaningfully in combat with 2 or 3 units. Oh yeah, maybe the new War Scroll is good though. Hold up, yeah, good point. So Smart can do D3 plus 3 mortals to a high model count unit. Yeah. I will withhold judgment on this one. In a vacuum, I don't think it's any good. But we'll see when gets to the War Scroll. Thickened Scales is great. Incandescent Blaze is funny, but unfortunately 10-inch range, can't shoot in combat. Nope. Nope. Anything but a Horde Breaker, I guess. Although, no, there's so many bad rampages now that it's hard for me to say anything but X. Anyway, these are a new prayer lore. So I have to check the old prayer lore so that I can compare and contrast. So this is the old prayer lore. Prayer of Ass on 4. Visible Fyreslayer unit, wholly within 12. -1 from wound rolls for attacks that target the friendly unit until the start of your next turn. Unlimited, that's great. Yeah, that's good. If it's 8, subtract 1 from rend that target that unit as well. And this is your unlimited prayer. Awesome. Actually nice. Nice unlimited prayer. A good defensive buff for sure. And then Prayer of Grimnir's Fury. Visible friendly. Infantry hero. Wait, what does it target? Anything, right? Yeah, any Fyreslayer. Infantry hero. Target can use 2 fight abilities. Yeah, but it's an infantry hero. Who gives a shit? After the first use, strike line. Okay, bad. Wrath of Volcatrix. Also 4. Pick a visible friendly Magomadroth. Hold within 12. Then make a chanting roll. For the rest of the turn, the battle damage ability has no effect on the target. Add 1 attack characteristic of his companion weapons. Of which you have 1. Nope, you got more. Okay. 2 attacks. Add 1 of the attack characteristic for every 4 damage points the target has. Interesting. I don't know how cool the battle damage thing is nowadays, but the bonus attacks are something. So you have good unlimited prayer, bad hero fight thing, and monster slightly better thing. Okay. All in all, not bad prayers. Kind of nice with it. Versus Icor of the Ursalamander. Pick a visible friendly Fyreslayer's Monstar, wholly within 12. Till the start of your next turn, any damage points, if any damage points were inflicted by an enemy unit by the target's volcanic blood ability, after the damage sequence has been resolved, inflict 3 mortal damage on the enemy unit on top of all of that. If it was 6 up, D3 plus 3. That's a lot of Reflecto Dam. How much Reflecto Dam do you do right now? If you make an unmodified save roll of 1 for a combat attack that targets this unit, inflict 1 mortal. If any damage points were inflicted. Afterwards, you just get 3 more. And then maybe D3 plus 3 more. Cool. Easy to pray for as well. And that's your unlimited. You're just bing, 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 kind of power word shielding all of your Magmadroths in your deployment zone, ready to send them off and Reflecto Dam stuff. Yeah, most units are throwing a bucket of dice. It's interesting that the volcanic blood scales with how insane your opponents are in a certain respect. Like if your opponent army is very elite, then volcanic blood sucks. But as soon as you start rolling 20 attacks, 40 attacks, 60 attacks, suddenly you're actually just melting against the heat of the thing. Actually kind of nice. And I like how it's 1s for your opponent as well. Like, this would be so much worse if it was 6s to your save, but because by the time it gets down to saves, you're rolling the fewest amount of dice. Since it's... No, it is saves. I thought it was hits. I was about to say that it was cool. Never mind. It's still good, but... save roll of 1. Okay. You're still making a bunch of saves, I guess. I like start talking about these always after misreading them. Fury of Volcatrix for 4. Pick a friendly Fyreslayer priest to chant this prayer. Add 1 to hit rolls to target's combat attacks, including those made with companion weapons. A rule we should just get rid of, right? So we're nerfing all-out attack and then giving you a way to get it. Sorta. In addition, if the chanting roll was 8 up, add 2 to the attack's characteristic of the target's companion weapons. If they don't have any companion weapons, then, well... I mean, clearly this prayer lore is you want to play a bunch of Magmadroths. So here is a prayer lore for you, the Magmadroth player, right? Yeah, if the prayer goes off, a single save roll of 1, guaranteed 4 mortals back. That's a lot. I actually, for all the people who, you know, the type of person who's like, man, my rolls are terrible. I always roll 1s on everything. Well, brother, I got an army for you to play. Magmadroths. Turn that frown upside down. If you can't stop rolling 1s for everything, at least have it cause you to explode and kill your enemies, right? It's like my Expedition 33 party, where 2 of the party members auto-explode at the very beginning of combat and die, so that my 1 carry can carry. Damn, that game's good. And Blazing Pimpetus for 5. Hard to pray for. Pick friendly Fyreslayer priest. Visible friendly Fyreslayers unit. Target can use the normal move ability as if it were your moving phase. Oh. Oh. If it was 10 up, you can pick another eligible unit to be a second target. This prayer lore is kind of good. It's clearly like you want to play Oops All Magmadroths. We're going to make you a prayer lore specifically built for that army. And that's what this is. Can you still roll saves if the rend goes above your armor save? Yes. In fact, technically you're supposed to. It's just usually there isn't a reason to because it wouldn't matter. But you are supposed to roll all your saves, even ones that are impossible. It's just we save time by not doing that. But some effects might matter, so like this, for instance. So yeah, like if you were playing against somebody with rend 40, right? Rend 40. So you couldn't possibly pass. You would still roll all your saves, and all the natural ones would kick back mortals then. Imagine writing a prayer lore that directly synergizes with the army. Truly a new era of GW. Yeah, this is great. What a great prayer lore. And Thickened Scales is sick too. The problem with monstrous traits, though, is your build. They're like, hey, you should play an army with 5 Magmadroths in it, and then we're gonna give you 3 enhancements, and you can't use the same one twice. And so that's a little awkward to me. However, I don't think you have any ways of getting a bunch of extra enhancements anyway. I'm just saying that from a Beast Claw player perspective, when we used to be able to get a bunch of them. Anyway, Thickened Scales is sick. Prayer Lore is sick. The kickback thing is super funny. I like it. Very flavorful too. Yeah, combat attack. I just wanted to make sure it's possible they fucked up and said attack instead of combat attack. Anyway, good shit. Now, if you're a normal army, like a normal Fyreslayers army and you just happen to include one Magma Droth, is it worth taking this prayer lore? No way. No way. I don't think. I mean, I don't play the army, but it seems like Prayer of Ash is actually a great unlimited prayer. And Wrath is like okay. Wrath is like okay. And you can cast it on your Singleton Magma Droth, and that's fine. So I think you still take the default one if you're a normal army, but if you're Oops all Magma Droths, this shit is fire. Nice-oo. Alright. Scourge Ghyran, War Scroll, Auric, Rune, San. 14-10-4. Not a good start. Pretty slow, no flying, bad save. 6 up ward at least. 6 up ward's okay. Oof. Give that man some pants. Holy shit. Roaring Firestream. 4 attacks, 3s and 3s, 1d3. Or if you do the funny thing, 8, 3, 3, 2, 3. Melee weapon. See, 10. Why? Also, you can't do it in combat. Why? It's its own mouth. It can't breathe. Can't breathe in combat. It's holding its breath. Oh yeah, that's right. You can get a 5-up ward in Slayers too. And it's not like Beast Claw where you have to spin 5 plates and pay $100. You actually can get to 5 fairly easily. I mean, it's not free. Ancestral weapons, 5, 3, 3, 1, 2. Claws and horns, 6, 4, 2, 1, 2, 4, 2, 2, 3. 2 of them, okay. It's like alright at fighting. Ish. It's like okay. It's an okay fighter. Very awkward breath weapon though. Once per battle deployment phase. Fire, Blood, and Vengeance. Pick a friendly orc, Rune Father on Magma Droth on the battlefield to be the target. So this does nothing if you're only playing one. You have to be playing Oops All Mags, basically. Add one of the damage characters to the unit's melee weapons, including Companion, while the target is in combat, damaged, or destroyed. Cool. So if the pater dies, then you get +1 damage to just fucking everything. Well, melee weapons, not the fire stream. So 3, 3, 4, which does move the needle a bit. To make an unmodified save roll 1, combat attack, inflict 1 mortal damage. Yep, okay. Unchanged. Volcanic Blood, good. Calamitous Crash. Pick an enemy unit in combat with this unit to be the target. Roll a die on a 3, roll a die for each. Hold on. Roll a die on a 3, roll a die. Okay. Sorry. Roll a die, and then if you do, then you roll a die for each model in the target unit, and then for each 5, 1 mortal damage. Are you sure you don't want to roll again? You want a third? Maybe D3? I want to roll a die, and then for each roll, you roll D3? Anyway, I don't value Horde Breakers much at all. Like, there's something, but I don't value them very highly. So what do you do? What does this guy do? He is slow, has a really awkward breath weapon, and he does, like, okay damage, I guess. Maybe. And then if you have a different guy who also died, then his damage becomes better, okay. I don't know. It doesn't exactly spark joy. I don't like Horde Breakers, though. Maybe that's my problem. Gets more wounds in the Droth sub-faction. Yeah, I believe it's +2. Puts him up to 16. Double moves with the prayer. This is all in on Droth. Yeah, I guess we're just using them, right? So is the... Oh, there's really just one more scroll then. Okay, I thought there would be two like every other person. So what we do is, the goal is, Dad just charges front row center, 50-yard line, just straight in there. And then all of the sons suddenly do damage. That's our goal. You actually give the football to the Rune Father. Load him up with the spiky lava shit and fire him out of the cannon like a lava balloon filled with lava. Hey, all right. And then all 3 or 4 sons are now damage dealers. I do have to remember that even though the War Scroll looks bad, this is Fyreslayers we're talking about. You actually get a lot of sauce to scoop up with the spongy bread that is all of your units in this army. So their War Scrolls might look a little lacking, but it's because all the flavor is added manually. Is the Rune Dad the Rune Dad a Rune Chad? He has that same thing, Latchkey Grandax, 4 attacks, 3-3-2-3. Some stuff. Okay, he's kind of the same. The Warrior Kings. For those of the turn, add one of the attacks characteristic melee weapons used by friendly Fyreslayers. Only 12. Including him. And he has a sick rampage. Like I know it sucks that you have to roll a 3 up, but the effect is so strong that I get it. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so what you do is you take an Auric Rune Father and you give him the Blaze, double move him into range and just shoot it. Pop his once per game, enter combat, kill anything. He has the Salamander thing. Your opponent kills him, takes actual mortal wounds in exchange. And then your 3 or 4 sons are just chilling. They're chilling on Dam. All right, we're kind of juiced here. How are people taking the Fyreslayers update? We've had a few days to percolate. Saturday and Sunday. How are Fyreslayer players taking it? Because it looks like if you love Oops All Magmadroths, if that's your thing, I mean, this seems like happy birthday. You have an awesome new Beast Pounder to put on it. You have a good prayer lore. Their water balloons filled with lava again. You have a combo to make your sons do damage. Yeah, Calamitous Crash sucks, but like, I guess who cares? There's plenty of other shit you're doing. Beast Pounder. That's the name of some burger. In... I don't know. Last time I was in Las Vegas with the Magic team for the WSOP, there's this restaurant and like if you finish it in 20 minutes, you get it for free kind of thing. One of the people on the team always orders stuff like that and tries to win. And it was called the Beast Pounder. Fyreslayers have always had weak-looking scrolls that get better with synergies and combos. Yes, very true, Escapo. That's what Khorne War Scrolls used to look like in the olden days. It used to be that's how Khorne was, where your War Scrolls were just dog shit. but then you put so many buffs on them that they became good. Kind of like Seraphon, where their war scrolls were dog shit, but instead of putting buffs on them to make them good, you cheated at the game with a bunch of abilities, but you didn't actually make them any good mechanically. You won several spice-related food challenges, I bet. Same with SJ Arcade. Guy likes the spice. Ghost Pepper Challenge, boring. Easy. Need something harder. All draws versus all Stonehorn and Thundertusks. You want to see it? I wonder who wins that. We do most of our damage in the charge phase, and it's not technically attacking in the combat phase. So we might be kind of immune to Volcanic Blood. That might be the decider. Because impact hits are overpowered, although we pretend that they're not. Oh, and I wanted to point out, this is very important, all right? Game design lecture. Look at Volcanic Blood. They could have made this ability way worse, but functionally the same. If you make an unmodified save roll of 1 for a combat attack that targets this unit, inflict 1 mortal on the attacking unit after the fight ability has been resolved, okay? This could have said, and it would be the same chances of anything happening, if you make an unmodified save roll of 6, reflect the damage, right? They could have picked, I guess, any number, but typically it'd be 1s or 6s. In the past, they had it be 6s, and now on this one, it's a 1. Why is having it be a 1 better? Or maybe you disagree that it's better, but I think it's better. How come this being a 1 instead of a 6 like the old Iron Fists or whatever? How come this is better than those? With our game design hats on. I'm going to catch up on chat while I wait. Johnny should be eating good with all the combos in Fyreslayers. Johnny, Fyreslayers might be a Psalm army for him, I guess. I know this is like awkward because now there's silence, but there is a stream delay, and there's an even longer stream delay on YouTube. But I still would like to, include the audience in any case. I've seen both halves of the correct answer so far. Yeah, there's 2 reasons why this is good, and perusing chat just now, I'm seeing both of them. So congratulations, you're all correct in varying parts. The first one is Zeno, a 1 shows failure. That's lore. That's the representation of what's happening via rules. It just makes sense. What is it called? It's called Volcanic Blood. What does that imply? You got your ass stabbed. What does that imply? Your armor didn't stop it. And so, of course, it would be a failed save, because otherwise there would be no blood. It just makes sense. And your blood's lava. That's why it's dealing the damage. And so, thinking about it, what's it doing? What's happening in the game? What kind of effects are these? How are we representing it mechanically? All that stuff makes sense, right? But it's double correct. Because now we go, now suddenly in the second half, we don't care about verisimilitude or elegance or representing whatever in the rules. Now we just care about the user experience of resolving the rules of the game psychologically. A 1 is normally bad. It's the worst you can roll. So a 1 is bad. And so when you're rolling your armor saves and you see a 1, you are sad. And when you see a 6, you are happy. If you make something good happen on a 1, but you still suffer the normal effects of failing, then it's kind of like when Stephen Hawking famously made a wager that Hawking radiation was not true. And he bet, in a sense, he bet against himself. Why? So that he would win no matter what happened. If his theory was correct, then his theory would be correct and he would reap the benefits and the rewards and be correct and feel good about it. And if his theory was wrong, then at least he got, I don't know what the wager was. I think it was a bunch of Playboy magazine subscriptions or something like that. At least he got something out of the deal. Here you go, kid. So that's why on a totally different axis, having it be a 1 is good. Because it turns normally the worst fail state into, well, it's not that bad. At least I do some damage, right? Now, this doesn't fully exactly pan out when it's happening because players adapt their brains very quickly to make sure that they're always feeling bad about something. And so suddenly, if you have a 3-up save right, now suddenly 2 is the worst roll you can roll. And so now you're actually more sad about the 2 you rolled with this ability than the 1 you would have rolled without the ability. But that's, you can only stop people from woe is meing so many levels deep, I guess. Anyway, good shit. Fyreslayers, I'm going to give you a B+, A-. Wait. Sorry, I have to do normal grade and then on a curve. So, normal grade, B. I like almost everything I see here. However, this ranged weapon cannot be this short range, or big missed opportunity. This thing should be able to breathe in combat. It's its own mouth, right? And I only see 1 war scroll here. You did 2 for everybody else. So I'm dropping you down to a B, but everything I do see is very good. Except this and this. Those 2 are not good, but thickened scales is fine. Grading on a curve, this is like an A. A- on a curve. It takes a beloved weird thing that weirdos would like to do, which is play only Magmadrots, and gives it funny rules that are also good. Good shit. Fyreslayers, big W. Collected. All of Warhammer could use more failure mitigation mechanics. Every single once per game effect that has you roll. Yeah. Yeah. Consider degrees of success. I mean, they all don't have to, but Stormcast had only 1 scroll as well. All right, well then I make the same complaint about Stormcast. Because there have been like 6 that haven't. Well, actually, Nezermore, Stormcast has so few war scrolls, right? That maybe they ran out of them. They just couldn't find a Stormcast war scroll to rewrite. Because there's so few of them. Once per game stuff should let you try again until it works. Yes. It should be, that's a very good idea to explore. I'll put it that way. I'm not going to instantly agree with you. But what if once per game was, once per game the ability can succeed, not you can try once a game? How would that change things? Well, then you could think about it, and it's a decent idea to think about. Everyone gets a prize? No, you could still fail it 5 times and just have it not happen. You can. Don't underestimate the power of failing an easy roll for 3 hours. Small rules question tangent asks Monk. It says in the core rules that if you have strike first and strike last, they cancel each other out. Correct. What happens if I have multiple sources of each? Does it stack for the purposes of cancellation like roll modifiers, or does any instance of one cancel out the opposite? I believe, and I could be wrong about this, I think it works like advantage, disadvantage in D&D, where it doesn't matter how many beans you have on each side of the golden bean scale. As long as there are any beans on both, it's equal. I think that's how that works. I would have to look it up maybe. Maybe I should look it up. Is there an FAQ on it? Hold up.